Hello, everyone, and welcome to another one of Corteva's Seed Applied Technologies webinars. My name is Marcel Bruins, and I'm Editorial Director of European Seed, and I will be your host of today. The title of today's webinar is Lumidapt and Ympact as Sustainable Seed Applied Solutions for Enhanced Crop Growth. And we have three excellent speakers for you today that will be sharing their expertise on this topic. But before diving into the actual presentation, I'd like to ask today's speakers if they could briefly introduce themselves. Let's go alphabetically. Lies, can you briefly introduce yourself?
Sure. Hello to everybody. My name is Liis Körner. I'm working in the Pro Farm. I'm working here as a technical support manager, and I'm part of field development team together with my colleagues Virga and Loik.
And Loik?
Hello everyone, welcome to this webinar. So I'm Loik Solas and I'm Technical Sales Director for ProFarm in Europe.
Great. Virg?
Hello everyone, I'm a CTO in ProFarm. This means I'm a head of global field development and a head of technical support for Europe.
Excellent, thank you both. Thank you all three. At the end of this webinar, we will be addressing some of the most frequently asked questions, so stay with us. And to start off today's seminar is Virg. Virg, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Well, I will ask assistance from my colleague Loik. He's going to share the presentation from his computer. And yeah, I will start the explanations around the slides. So yeah, thank you for joining. I hope this is showing your interest in the seed treatment nutrition solutions. I am really happy to introduce you the most recent achievements in seed applied technology area. But firstly, a few words about our company and the basics of our technology. As a company, ProFarm was founded in 2014, which is not a particularly long age for a company, but our technology has a much longer history of innovation and applied science. ProFarm is a Nordic European company with headquarters in Finland, but we've got also subsidiaries in Latin America, in Uruguay, in Brazil, and also in Europe, in Estonia. I'm based in Tallinn, for instance. And last year, in 2019, we joined our forces with the US company Marone Bioinnovations, which is developing the biocontrol products. And this provides us now with a broader portfolio and enables to enter to other segments besides fertilizers and plant nutrition. And we've got one more important milestone to mention. Also, last year, we established a strong and forward-looking collaboration with Corteva, thanks to which we can today offer our seed treatment solutions to every advanced seed breeder and grower in Europe. And now we are ready to go more deeply into the technology introduction. Yes, thank you. Well, to help you better to understand the idea behind our technology, I'd like to give you a brief overview about the history of the technology creation. It all began about 30 years ago when the main investigator and the founder of our company, Dr. Igor Tsaganov, yeah, and you see the photograph of him at the lower part of the slide. He was invited to lead a group of scientists working at the program Apollo-Soyuz. That was a joint program of US and Soviet Union, in which the plant scientists were asked to develop a method to produce green food in the spaceship for astronauts. Now, you can imagine the conditions in the spaceship, they are really hostile for the plant. There's no gravity, the quality of the air is rather poor, etc. And then quite at the beginning, of their research, the scientists realized that they need to look for a substance or a compound that would have an impact on plant stress management. They were studying different substances, and it took them about 10 years to find components which we are using today in our products. Thanks to these compounds, the plant's metabolic processes were becoming much less energy consuming, and the plant had enough resources to germinate, to develop leaves and stems, and even to produce the fertile seeds in the spaceship. Well, this all happened in 1980s. But in 1990, Soviet Union ceased to exist, and the space program was also closed. Well, Dr. Igor Taganov continued to work. He was constantly improving his technology and was modernizing it to make it applicable to today's agriculture practices. So the technology was in this way brought from the space to Earth. And from 2010 to 2015, our product was tested on various crops. Technology was developed further, tested in different situations, until in 2018, we created a product line, so-called Generation 2 of the technology, which fits well now to Corteva's portfolio. Next slide, please. Now, the technology. Well, we take the raw material from the circular economy. It comes from the Nordic pine and spruce trees. And while paper industry is using cellulose for paper production, the lignin it gets processed but not used, and it comes out of the paper mill in a form of lignosulfonate. Well, we use this lignosulfonate as a starting material. We manipulate it by using our proprietary patented technology. This involves polymerization and polycondensation. And what happens is a very rapid aging of lignosulfonate. It is a similar process what would happen in nature, but it would take like 10,000 years. We can do the same thing within a few hours. The very huge supramolecules of organic polymers, they're broken down to smaller units and reorganized. And polymeric chains are shortened, restructured, and the outcome is combination of humic and fulvic acid-like substances, which are highly bioactive. We add nutrients to serve the plant needs in early development. And the final product is highly concentrated and specifically engineered to be used in a seed treatment process. Thank you. Next slide. Well, as mentioned, in our complex molecule, we have chemically combined humic fulvic acid-like backbone, let's say, to which various nutrients, they are all essential to plants' early development, are attached to. That is the specificity of our technology. Each droplet of the product contains the complete combination of organic substances combined with complex nutrients. It is not mechanical mixture, but a one complex of elements joined with polymeric bonds. And because it's one molecular complex, it is very mobile and biologically very active. Complexing in the way we do, it is actually one step further from the traditional EDTA chelating technology of nutrients. Our bonds are not as strong, and it enables the microelements to leave the molecular structure and they can become available to the plants. But on the other hand, while being attached to the molecule, the elements are still kept stable and protected from being undergo unwanted reactions inside the plant. So derived from the trees, which is a natural source, the plants are easily recognizing and accepting our product, and therefore the uptake is fast and complete, and the efficacy is very high. And with the next slide, I think we will explain you more detailed the mode of action of the product. One of the key features of our products is a characteristically sticky nature, which actually gives a perfect adhesive properties. It helps to keep all the seed treatment components in this treatment mixture close to the seed and cover the seed homogeneously. Our product penetrates fast through the seed coat and enters the endosperm. And there it releases the nutrients and acts as an extra energy source for the germinating seed. But together with our substance, the active ingredients of the seed treatment partners can also faster penetrate through the seed coat, and they can act where they are supposed to work, like inside the seed. In this way, the active ingredients are used completely, so they can't be rubbed off. There is no loss of any product, but we can also make the whole seed treatment process more nature-friendly. We can reduce the dust off. We've got some lab results proving that. Then applying our product on the seed, the activity of certain enzymes is increased. The seed dormancy is broken down and seed starts to germinate. And at the same time, water and nutrient absorption from the ambient soil layers is enhanced. Now, the third point is that thanks to the product, the radical and shoot initials growth is enhanced. The enzymes, which are sort of woken up, they are invigorating the multiplication and growth of the meristematic cells in the seed. And in this way, the germination happens faster, and you can see in the field conditions the emergence of a crop happening faster as well. Now, we've also got one positive side effect of a product. It's the activity on the positive microorganisms within the soil particles close to the seed. When applied on the seed surface, we bring the product in the sowing process into the soil. And the beneficial organisms in the soil around the seed actually get benefit from our product because it acts as a extra carbon source and source for the nutrients in the soil. And the microorganisms are using this to start working the nutrients based in the soil to turn them into the absorbable form for the plant. So we can actually, as a consequence, increase the nutrient availability in the soil for the plant. And plants, they are like living organisms. They have their own ways of communication, you may say. They have their metabolic systems, defense mechanisms, and much more. And with our product applied on the seed, but it gets into the seed and starts the physiological processes inside the seed, we can actually stimulate the plant's natural ability to mitigate the stress, which may be caused by various abiotic factors, like lack of moisture, or harsh cold, or in a contrary, high heat. So the seed treatment with our product actually helps to keep the stress level down in the plant, and the overall well-being of the plant is therefore better, and the plant can actually take off at the beginning of its development, being more stronger and vigorous and cope with the various stresses which may affect it during its whole growth cycle. So that is what our product is meant for. And I think this is now time to actually start giving you some evidences from the various tests we have done with our products. So yes, I'm happy to introduce you the first formulation called Lumidapt. And this is particularly designed for the seed treatment of hybrid crops. We aim here to treat mainly corn, oilseed rape, and sunflower. And we've set one core dose rate for all three crops, which is 120 milliliters per 100 kilos of seeds. In essence, it's a liquid formulation, which contains about 60% of the organic matter, which is the humic fulvic acid like compounds making the backbone of the molecule, where the micro and macronutrients are attached. The micronutrients overall content is more than 2%, and there are around 16 various elements, all essential for the crops to perform better in the field. And that's it for the introductive part. I would here actually hand over to my colleague Rick, who would explain you the trial findings from various locations and types of the trials we've done.
So thanks, Virger. So I will present some results, trial results that we created during the last year when we tested Lumidapt in field condition and laboratory condition in Europe. So one of the first evidence that we could demonstrate in our network of trials is the root development in early stage on corn. So on that picture, it very well explained that on the left, you've got the control, meaning the same variety with the same seed treatment as on the right, but without Lumidapt. Here, Lumidapt has been added in the slurry. So you can see that thanks to Lumidapt, we've got a very nice root development and a little bit more foliar development too in that picture. So if we understand the origin of this root development, it's really due to the core technology of Lumidapt. For one part, the chelated and complex nutrients are easily absorbed into the seeds. So that means that the plant doesn't waste energy to really pump, to really uptake those nutrients from the soil. So that means more energy available to develop the root system and the foliar system. And the other part of the explanation is also due to the fulvic and humic acids who have a direct impact on the growth system, on the growth development of root system. So as another example, in another area, in Hungary 2019, we can see the same kind of evidences. And just to prove what is behind also the pictures that we made some measurements this year on different locations in Europe to really measure what is the dry weight of the root system and the foliar system. So here without Lumidapt and here with Lumidapt. So you can see an increase of about 5%, 5 to 10% on the root system, and the same more or less on the foliar system. What also we try to demonstrate, and we studied in our trials, it was 2 years ago, it was about the chlorophyll content in the plant. So the study was made in Hungary on micropods trial. So we measured the chlorophyll content at different stage, from 4 leaves approximately to beginning or just before flowering on corn. So what we could measure and what was really interesting in that study, that we could demonstrate that whatever the stage before flowering, we have a better chlorophyll content in the plant. So what does it mean, a better chlorophyll content? That means more efficient use of sun to transform it into carbohydrates and at the end, more grain or more thousand kernel weight in the plant. And again, what we also could see in that study is that this chlorophyll content is really due to one part, the bigger root system that we could see in the previous slide, but also the fact that we know that humic and fulvic acid has an impact on the abiotic stress. So we were in Hungary, we know that in general spring are pretty dry and the control was affected by this drought when the seeds treated with Lumidapt were less affected. And this picture on the right, where you've got the control and the same variety, but treated with Lumidapt as a seed treatment, you can see the greenness of the plant just before harvest compared to more dry plants of the control. We spoke about field results, but also we did some studies in laboratory and greenhouse. So here we will focus on laboratory. What we wanted to study before we launch every product on the market is a compatibility with existing crop protection product. So I will not go into many details in that chart, but here you've got the crop protection product tested, and in gray you've got the control, meaning without Lumidapt, and in yellow, orange, you've got the same crop protection product but with Lumidapt. And here we are speaking about germination 8 days after planting, so it corresponds in general to the worm test that it's usually done on every varieties or every bag of seeds. So just as a summary for this chart, what we could demonstrate with those laboratory results is either a neutral effect in some situation of Lumidapt, meaning that it doesn't impact at all the germination, or for other product, we could improve the germination of the seed in laboratory. And also what was interesting to do in that case is to study also the impact of Lumidapt, again, compared to a control, on different genotype, on different genotype or hybrid, as you prefer, but also on different seed lot quality. And what was interesting, if we speak about only seed lot quality, when we've got low seed lot quality with a control, we drastically improve the germination. When we've got an average seed quality, we improve slightly better the level of germination. And you can imagine that when the level of quality of seed is very high, we're still neutral. But again, it's very positive because that means that we do not affect negatively at all the germination of the seeds. And also when we cross with the different genotypes, what we learn about that laboratory study, and also we had some validation in fields, that we know that the product responds differently to the different genotypes. But again, it's either neutral or smallly positive to fully positive for the germination and early plant development. We spoke about laboratory result on Lumidapt applied on fresh seed, but also what is important to study for seed industry is the impact of Lumidapt or effect of Lumidapt on carryover seeds. It's very important because you all manage carryover or inventory every year, and it's important to keep at least the same level of quality of the first year of treatment, or if possible to improve it compared to a control. So this is the aim of the studies we did in the laboratory. And the same as the previous slide, we tested Lumidapt to different crop protection products to see their impact on the germination. To go briefly and not to go into detail product per product, exactly the same picture as on fresh crop. Either we improve the germination or we stay neutral, meaning we do not affect the quality of the seed or we improve it. And also what was interesting to study in that laboratory study was to see also the effect on radical mass meaning the root system development in early stage, because we are not speaking about germination in total, but also here it will reflect in the future field what will be the vigor emergence of the corn. So again, in that case, it was always positive, meaning better effect of Lumidapt compared to control, and whatever the base seed treatment apply on the corn seed. If we change of crop, speaking about sunflower, we did exactly the same studies as we did on corn, meaning field trial and laboratory trial. If we speak about evidences that we could demonstrate in field, here we took some pictures in general dry country at planting time and in the early stage of emergence, like Turkey, Bulgaria, and Spain. In all cases, we had either homogeneous emergence compared to the control on the left, in gray here, and in orange, you can see more plants and homogeneous development between the plants. So it was in Turkey. Also, what was interesting this year in Bulgaria, that we could see in very early stage, because we've got 4 leaves, 2 to 4 leaves, that we've got a stronger stem. It was pretty exceptional for that compared to the control. And also we took some evidences and picture in Spain, where you can see again the control on the left, Lumidapt on the right. We've got a longer root system and especially more lateral root developed in early stage. We did also the chlorophyll content study in order to see if Lumidapt was also available to increase the chlorophyll content in not only in corn, but also in sunflower. So I will not repeat the same things as I said for corn, but we had exactly the same trend. So from early stage to a stage just before flowering, bud stage on sunflower, we've got a higher chlorophyll content. And again, we are still in Hungary, so in springtime when drought can be pretty severe sometime. So what was interesting also is to show a picture of this consequence of higher chlorophyll content. That means that when we have an increase of fruit development, as we mentioned already, we've got a better water uptake and also a better nutrient uptake, because the nutrients are in the water solution of the soil. So better nutrient uptake will increase the nutrient in the plant, and especially nitrogen, which is the main component of chlorophyll. So that means that all those evidences make the plant sometimes earlier in development during the stage. And this is what we wanted to illustrate with that picture. The control, I would estimate 5–10% flowering, to Lumidapt treated seeds, where we are around 70% of flowering in the field. Here, we did exactly the same studies as in corn, apart that here we illustrated with pictures, meaning that we wanted to test Lumidapt with different crop protection products existing on the market and see their effect on early plant development, and be sure, that we do not have negative effect on plant early emergence. As you can see, whatever the crop protection product use with Lumidapt, again, we don't have any negative impact, but in some parts, we've got also positive effect, meaning better foliar development and more ground coverage, or higher number of plants for here compared to the control. The same ideas as on corn, again, the same for sunflower. We need also to be sure that our product do not impact the carryover seeds. You face also on sunflower the same issue sometimes due to campaign or season situation, exceptional one, hopefully, some carryover management for the next season. So again, different crop protection product tested without Lumidapt and with Lumidapt. Same picture, neutral, or we increase the level of germination. And the same for the radical development, so which will translate the early vigor of the plant for the year after, when the farmer will use the seeds in the field, higher or neutral. We'll speak now about winter oilseed rape. We already spoke about spring crop, important for Europe, but now we'll speak about winter oilseed rape. So we did a short time lapse to really show the evidence of the growing development of winter oilseed rape variety without Lumidapt on the left part and with Lumidapt on the right. And pay attention on that part because you will see the effect on the root development. Just have a look, it's pretty interesting. And at that stage, you can see also a higher emergence rate and also a more vigorous plant in general. Look at the root development, very nice. And a picture at the end of the time lapse. Now that we had a look on the field emergence, we will particularly focus for oilseed rape on what happened in autumn, in spring, and also in summer before harvesting. Again, same situation as corn and sunflower. We've got a stronger root development, and for oilseed rape, meaning a stronger taproot. And what is pretty nice on that picture is that you can see that you've got still some fine particle of soil attached to the taproot. In general, that means that when we clean, we try to remove most of the soil, but some soil stays stuck in the taproot. And that means that we've got a strong biological activity around those fine roots, which is very positive for oilseed rape. And what was also interesting is to see a higher leaf development. And why I insist on those two parts, root and leaf, for oilseed rape, it's also because we have to face, especially for eastern part of Europe, to strong winter. So if we've got strong root development and nice foliar development, we could demonstrate on other crop, and it's the same for oilseed rape, that we've got a higher nutrient uptake. So meaning higher concentration of nutrients in the leaves, and in the same time, due to the leaf area, which is bigger, more carbohydrates in the leaf. So that make more concentrated product in the total plant, so that means more resistant to frost and low temperature. What is also interesting, that means that if we better survive in winter time, that means that we've got also a better capacity to regrowth in spring. So just before regrowth, we took some pictures where you can see the big taproot. So again, taproot is very important to uptake nutrients, but also it's a storage organ for the plant. So that means that you've got a lot of nutrients and carbohydrates in the taproot, which will be necessary, especially at that time before harvesting, that all those nutrients and key elements will migrate into the grain before harvest. So again, I will go fast on that slide, but same evidences as on corn and sunflower. We tested the compatibility of Lumidapt with different crop protection formulations, so without and with Lumidapt. And again, either neutral, either positive on plant development. Again, shelf life, I think, is more important even on winter oilseed rape due to the short season between harvest and planting. So the storage and carryover management is very important. Again, the same, either positive, either neutral effect of Lumidapt, but in general, more positive on the speed germination. And on the germination, so warm test in laboratory, the same, we improve in general from 1 point to 3 points the level of germination. Now I let the floor to my colleague Virgo to introduce Ympact, our other product, seed treatment product.
Thank you, Loic. That was a very nice story about the hybrid crops and Lumidapt efficacy on those. We've got also another formulation, which is designed specifically for the cereal crop seed treatment. It's called Ympact, and it's suitable for usage on all cereals, including rice. We've got one dose rate to recommend to use. This is 700 milliliters of a product for 1 ton of seeds. And the best would be to use it in a mixture with the water so that the total slurry volume would be somewhere in between 6 to 12 liters per ton of seed. As I said, it is specifically designed for cereal crops. The main organic part is derived from the same core technology. It's the humifolic acid kind of substances making the backbone of the molecule of the product. The concentration of the organic part is around 63 again. And in the case of micronutrients attached to the molecule, we have concentrated now specifically on 3, manganese, copper, and zinc, which we consider more essential for particularly cereal crops for their early establishment and vigor. But all the trial data will be shared with you by my colleague, Lise. Go ahead, Lise.
Thank you, Virga, for the introduction. I'm happy to introduce the Ympact results because using a new biological seed treatment Ympact gives a clear advantage us in the early crops establishment and the cereals development. During the product development stage, we have done several studies and tests, and we have seen the multiple ways how the Ympact work. In this slide is presented the laboratory trials results, where we can see that Ympact increase the germination rate. In the left side, test 1, here we can see that in the low vigor seed lot, Ympact increase the germination rate near to the normal seed quality lot. And if we have a normal seed quality lot, we can less or lower increase of the germinated seeds, but still it's increase, and we can say that we have stable effect for the increase the germination rate. Also in this trial, we did root and shoot growth analysis, and we saw that in the both cases, in the both seed lot, we increased the root length and also the shoot length. And in the right side, we can see a very good evidence from the field that increased root system and increased and healthier biomass is presented using the Ympact. And here we could say that the Ympact seed treatment is designed to improve the plant establishment and the winter hardiness. Increased nutrient supply and increased metabolic activity give us increase the root and shoot growth, and more vital plants, more healthier plants and bigger plants are able to format carbohydrates for the winter survival. So that's why plants are more, plants have better winter tolerance. And also if the plant started growing in the springtime, the growth is boosted and they are more healthier. And if the growth is boosted, we can have a better abiotic stress tolerance, for example, drought stress tolerance. And also in the chart here, we can see that in our trials, we have measured the root and shoot dry weight, And using the Ympact seed treatment, the root dry weight is increased 20%, and at the same time the shoots are increased 8%. So these are very good indicators. And also what is very important in the seed industry is the shelf life of the treated seeds. In the Ympact seed treatment, we can see that it affects seeds positively even after 1 month of seed treatment. And we can see that during the 12 months, the germination is increased and we can improve the quality of the seed lot. And one thing is very important more, that our product is effective after 1 month, after 1 year of using. And chart on the right, we can see that the radical dry weight per plant is increased also, and it reflects to improve health of the seed and higher success rate in germination.
Thank you, Liz. Well, thank you everybody for being with us so far. We've demonstrated now what we can offer you as a portfolio for hybrid and cereals crop nutritional seed treatment. First, what our products can do. They can improve crop establishment in the field by minimizing the negative effect deriving from the suboptimal growth conditions, may it be the variation of soil type within the field or harsh weather or insufficiency of moisture. Whatever the conditions, using our products enables to secure the normal plant growth starting from the earliest moments of its development. We've also shown that one of the key features of the products is the positive impact on the root growth. In winter crops, it means a more complete organ for storing the valuable carbohydrates, which carry the plants through the winter. In spring crops, like corn or sunflower, it means an increased water and nutrient uptake surface, which makes it possible for the plant to reach to the deeper layers of the soil and survive the unfavorable periods of the growth season. We've also proved that the products are fully compatible with all most common seed treatment products on corn, sunflower, oilseed rape, and cereals. They are very partner friendly indeed. And in certain cases, they help to increase the germination and vigor of the less healthy seeds. And they stay safe on the seed for at least a year. Well, it is definitely an interesting journey we have started with Corteva now. And I can tell you that already now we are working on next generation product line. We are focusing more on specific stress tolerance features, and we're trying to create a crop specific solutions to meet our customers' needs even better. We are investigating a broader selection of ingredients which could be used in combination with our core technology. We are aiming at entering the world of biostimulants once the regulation comes into force in Europe and the definition and the demonstration criteria of the biostimulant properties are clearly defined. It is our decision not to be limited with the nutritional substances, but to find positive synergies with other type of substances to be able to provide more complete solutions to the constantly evolving agriculture. So I do hope that in the future, we can share with you some more news, some new good products, and I hope you stay with us. Thank you very much for your attention.
Excellent. Thank you, Verge, Liz, and Loic for your interesting presentation. I thought it was very interesting, and it was fascinating to see that technology coming from space, that was developed in space, in fact, is now providing us with so much needed benefits back here on Earth. So absolutely, absolutely fascinating to see that. And now I'd like to do a little bit of a Q&A session. ProFarm and Corteva have been collecting some of the more frequently asked questions, and I'd like to pick your brain a little bit if you could help me with answering some of these questions. Here I have a first question that is coming from the farmers. So why should the farmers in fact be adding Lumidapt or Ympact to their seed treatment solution?
Thank you. This is a very good question. Farmers all over the world works every day to cover the world population food needs. Change in climate conditions and several other aspects make this work complicated for the farmers, because producing the yield in the open air condition or in the fields can be challenging. High temperatures, heat or cold conditions, heavy rains can destroy the crops in the very early stages. Our product, Lumidapt and Ympact, are designed to help the farmers get a strong fundament for building up a high yield. Using Lumidapt on corn, sunflower and oilseed, and Ympact on cereals, we can do all what is in our hands to protect the plants from the unfavorable climate conditions and from abiotic stress. So optimized nutrient composition in our product gives needed energy to support the germination and the seedling development. So in the conclusion, we can say that it's very important to protect your seeds from the unfavorable climate conditions. And also it's very important to give to the seedlings and to give the seedlings the quick and fast start with optimized nutrient solution.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Liz. Another question is a bit on the ingredients of Lumidapt and Ympact. Can you share a bit what are exactly the active ingredients in this product?
Thank you. I would say different from the crop protection, in our nutritional seed treatment products, we would rather call the content of the products as substances. So the active substances in our products are of a natural source. They're coming from trees, and we are using the kind of a byproduct of a paper mill, which is called lignosulfonate. And we are processing the lignosulfonate and getting a humic and fulvic acid-like compounds, which we are able to structure so that they create a kind of a backbone or a skeleton for a bigger molecule. And onto that molecule, we are attaching several nutrients. And in our future portfolio, we are planning to work more on the crop-specific solutions, meaning selecting particular elements for particular crops. You've seen also with Ympact that we've focused on a few essential elements, while Lumidapt has a very broad selection of various nutrients which all support the plant at its early growth. So that's the basics of the core technology and the substances in our product.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Varush, humic and fulvic acid type products. Can you explain a bit more on how these products actually work?
They have multiple ways of acting on a crop. When used as a seed treatment, first they invigorate the enzymes responsible for the breaking the seed dormancy. So we get actually like faster germination. The substances in our products, they are kind of a door openers for faster multiplication of the cells which then turn into the radicle and cotyledon growth. The plant gets signals from its ambient environment, and when it recognizes that some of the conditions are maybe not optimal, it tends to slow down its metabolism and slow down the growth. And this is actually negative for the yield capacity of a plant at the end of a season. So our product works more on the stress management. It makes the metabolic process in the plant less energy consuming. So the plant can cope with the factors causing stress better, and it has more energy then to continue to grow in a normal speed. And this is helping it to realize its potential at the end of a season when the harvesting moment is in the field. So having a seed treatment product, we can actually support the plant growth from the very beginning. So when the plant starts healthy and vigorous, it is creating already a good basis for it to grow strong and very potential in the terms of yield production. So this is all about the best start possible for the plant to achieve to its maximum.
Absolutely. Thank you, Verish. What would you say is the dose rate of the product? And can you comment on whether it's compatible with other products?
Yes, that's a good question. We have done multiple tests, and we've seen that the dose rate can be kept quite robust. It works well on many crops using the same dose rate, and that's what I think makes it also easy to manage for the end user or for the customer. So there is no confusion about depending on the crop species varying the dose rate. So we have one core dose rate for hybrid crops for Lumidapt, which is 120 milliliters per 100 kilos of seeds. Each treater then has to adjust this just based on the 1,000 kernel weight and the unit size and the slurry volume used. And for the cereals for Ympact, we are also recommending for all the cereal species the same dose rate, 700 milliliters per 1 ton of seed. And we have a rather broad range of the total slurry volume, which can be mixed with the same dose rate, from 6 to 12 liters. So this actually leaves a lot of flexibility in terms of the machinery used and the common practices at the seed treatment. The Lumidapt and Ympact, they both can freely be mixed with the crop protection, may it be disease control or insect control substances, because we have tested and we have seen that there is no component which is antagonistic to our product. So basically we can maintain the seed vigor, and in many cases when the seed treatment combination is really complicated, there are many active ingredients in the slurry, then we can actually improve even the germination rate by making the seed coping better with the complicated mixture what it has to adapt to. So basically a very robust solution for all the crops.
Yeah, great. And then a question that is very important for the operators and the people that are handling this product are both products safe to use, and can you comment on the shelf life of the product?
Thank you. And you're right, this is very important. The operator safety is one of the main let's say concerns when we develop the new products, because we know that a lot of active ingredients in the common crop protection world can be problematic, and they need specific precautions to be taken in order to handle. So with our products, it's pretty easy. Their safety profile is very positive. There are no particular safety measures needed to be taken, more than usual what you need to do when handling the seed treatment. The storage is also very classical. The shelf life of the product is 2 years for both liquid formulations, and there are no particular restrictions. Like usually you should keep the products away from the direct sunlight and keep them from freezing because they are liquid. But other than that, there is nothing very particular. And also, like we already showed in the presentation, the shelf life of the treated seeds is at least 12 months. And we are extending our studies, and we can already see that even 18 months is not a problem in case of hybrid crops, for instance. So it's fairly convenient product, pair of products what we are offering.
Excellent, that sounds very good. Looking at the clock, I'm afraid that's all that we have for today. I'd like to thank the ProFarm speakers that we had here today with us, Virg, Lies, and Loïc. Thanks so much for joining us and sharing your expertise. And to our audience, I hope you found the information that we shared with you today as very valuable. A recording of this webinar will be available on Corteva's YouTube channel, and also will be made available at sat.corteva.com. Thanks again, stay safe, and I wish you all a very wonderful rest of the day.